Today is 30th July and we are celebrating the legacy of Ontario's second longest serving Premier, William G. Davis, Bill Davis. He served from 1971 to 1985. For 14 years, he was the Premier of Ontario and he was the 18th Premier. Today, City of Brampton has unveiled this memorial. Let's see the full report.
I want to thank the Davis family for having me here. And I always said right from day one and all the way back to my dad that used to print all these Bill Davis stickers at Deco labels. He was and always will be the greatest Premier this province has ever seen, bar none. You know, he did similar to myself. Yes, we were both proud to be part of the PC party. And I always say, I don't care about political stripes. I never have, and just working collaboratively as Premier Davis did, working across all aisles, no matter what political stripe it was. And I have used, I think your dad's saying, people who aren't PC, they're politically misguided. Was that it? Philosophically misguided. Well, I switched it a little bit because I told my good friend Wab Canoe, Premier of Manitoba, look, he's politically misguided. I love him, but he should have been a PCer. But there's so many things each and every Premier across this great country can learn off Premier Davis, and that's about building. And as you were saying, a nation builder, but a province builder as well, building infrastructure. And this, I do have to look at my notes because I know it was Highway 401, 400, 403, expanding GO Transit. And we're trying to, walk a mile in his shoes to make sure we do the same. And there's so many lessons that I've learned.
Today we're celebrating the legacy of one of the most extraordinary Canadians in our history, the late, great Premier Bill Davis, who proudly hailed from Brampton, Ontario, delivered a legacy of accomplishment in the province of Ontario, from our college system to our labor laws, to our environment ministry, to advancing equity in our province, to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He is an extraordinary individual who left an enormous legacy of accomplishment. And this monument we display today is a tribute to his legacy, his decency, his vision, someone that remains beloved in this.
Well, it's a very special day for our family. Dad lived his entire life a few blocks north, 1 block south, and right across the road. This is where his father practiced for 33 years in the courthouse behind me as a Crown attorney. And he didn't want a monument, but he acquiesced because it would be here, and it had the words on it, educate, inspire. It means so much to him, and it certainly means so much to all of a very large family now to have this here. And I hope it provides an inspiration to others to learn more about him, not only what he did, but the kind of person he was. Because that's really where his legacy lies, is to do politics differently today.
So we're here today to celebrate the unveiling of this wonderful commemoration of William Davis. Bill Davis, or Brampton Bill as many would refer to him, was the epitome of the inspiring politician. And if you look at the sign, you'll see educate and inspire. He started the Department of the Environment. He was Minister of Education, and he did enormous good works for not only the city of Brampton, the province of Ontario, but for this country, repatriating the Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and funding for post-secondary education, especially our community colleges. I had the benefit of knowing him, the privilege of being his doctor, and I'm really inspired by this wonderful commemoration of William Davis, Mr. Brampton.
What an honor to be here and to be honoring Bill Davis. He's the region of Peel's first citizen, and what an appropriate monument to remember everything that he's done for Brampton, for Peel, and for the province of Ontario.
I'm just very happy to be in downtown Brampton today to pay tribute to a man who I think was the, single most important premier, certainly in my lifetime. I've known, I think, 9 of the last Ontario premiers, and I think I'd have to put Mr. Davis at the top of the list right now. Bill Davis was premier of this province from 1971 to 1985. He got a lot done. He got a lot accomplished. He's the second longest serving premier of Ontario ever. He won 4 straight elections. He helped bring home the Constitution with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He got education more right than wrong. He got healthcare more right than wrong. There's no such thing as a perfect premier, but I think in the life of this province, we were pretty lucky to have Bill Davis when we did.
Mario Russo, Regional Councillor in Caledon for Wards 4, 5, and 6. Just an honor to be here today and, praising the legacy of Bill Davis, our late Premier. And it's just great to see the artwork that's here that will carry on the legacy so that people of younger generations can actually understand what he meant to Brampton, but what he meant to the region of Peel and all of Ontario. And one of the things that I took from today is that he was the last actual premier, or at the time, representative of Peel County that included Caledon and Mississauga. So it's a great education for everyone. It's great to appreciate and support his legacy, and it's great to be here today.
ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ 18ਵੇਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਦੀ ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਬਿਲ ਡੇਵਿਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ 96ਵਾਂ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੜੇ ਖਾਸ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ। ਪਬਲਿਕ ਆਰਟ ਦਾ ਡਿਸਪਲੇ ਔਰ ਇਹਦੀ ਇਨੋਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਦੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਡੇਵਿਸ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਦੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਔਰ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਮਿਸਾਲ ਹੈ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਬਿਲ ਡੇਵਿਸ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰੀ। ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ 14 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਲੰਬਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿੱਤਾ, 25 ਸਾਲ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੇ। ਔਰ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਜਿਸ ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੰਗਲ MPP ਦੀ ਸੀਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਣਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੰਟਰੀਬਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ, ਇਨਵਾਇਰਨਮੈਂਟ, ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ 400 ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਹਾਈਵੇਜ਼, 410 ਦੀ ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਆ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਬਿਲ ਡੇਵਿਸ ਦੀ ਦੇਣ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇਸ ਮਾਨਮੱਤੇ ਦਿਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰਿਬਿਊਟ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿਊਮਿਲਿਟੀ ਔਰ ਡੀਸੈਂਸੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ, ਨਵੇਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਇਲੈਕਟਡ ਆਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲਸ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਹੋਣ।
How do you find two words that fit the person and the legacy to be honored, which will remain relevant and resonant over the decades to follow? Well, I think the artist did just that. Educate, inspire. Education, few things motivated my father more than the importance of education. You will have heard him say, so many of you will have heard him say, show me a great doctor, a great engineer or lawyer, and I will show you a great teacher or teachers who have mattered in their lives. Doing education well is probably as important today as at any moment in my lifetime. With all the challenges facing us, educating a nation of people, younger of course, but not only, who are equipped with the skills and creativity and passion to help us find a better place for them and this country is not just compelling, but an imperative.
Why am I so interested in Bill Davis? Because I am. And I think part of it is what you said, Premier Ford. I think objectively, I think he was the best premier, certainly of the 10 I've known in my lifetime, so I'd start with that. But I also think, I was 10 when he became premier, and when he stopped being premier, I was 24. So those are pretty formative years in the life of a citizen of the province of Ontario. His most formative years were kind of my most formative years also, and I'm sure that had something to do with it. After he stepped down in 1985, I wanted to do an interview with him, because essentially he'd been in, Mr. Chairman, you told me, he was in public life for 25 years, Premier for 14, and I really wanted to understand, was there any life outside politics for...
When it comes to Bill Davis, when it comes to the great Bill Davis in Brampton, there's no script required because he means so much to this city. And there are so many accolades in his legacy that we are so fiercely proud of. I want to say, first of all, though, it speaks to the affection that so many people have in this province for the late Premier, that we have the existing Premier of Ontario making time in his busy schedule to be here to pay tribute to Bill Davis. Thank you, Premier Ford, for taking the time.